Hey guys, welcome back. You've seen this side garden before. I'm just going to kind of give you a little tour of the side garden right here and then the backyard. There have been a lot of fails in this garden this year. You see the sunflowers, there's not as many because they got so big. We've had so much rain and they've kind of fallen over a lot. But I did have to trim all of them. But to start off, we'll start with the first one back over here. So that very first flower is an azalea. It's really small, hasn't grown that much at all. I know they say that the first year, what is it? There's like a 3-year thing that it sleeps, it creeps, it leaps. I think it's still sleeping. It's the same size as I put it in last year as it is this year, but this is its second season, so maybe next year it'll start to do a little bit more. The next one is the Super Tunia Bordeaux. Then we have I think that's the Sweet Caroline vine. And then we have the Snowdrift. And then our Jazzberry, the Raven, Sweet Potato Vine, Bubblegum. And then it kind of repeats again where we have the Sweet Potato Vine or Sweet Caroline Vine, one of those. All of those are proven winter plants except for the box rose bushes and the azalea. And then I just did the same thing again where I have the Snowdrift or Jazzberry and the Bubblegum. Now, as you can see, they're not very happy. And I trimmed them pretty hard because we have been getting so much rain that they were looking pitiful and just straggly. And I know when you give them a prune, that it can sometimes rejuvenate them to getting a little bit bigger. The potato vines, the vines are doing absolutely wonderful, but the flowers are suffering. So I'm hoping that feeding them a little bit more, which I do twice a week anyway, and hopefully if the rain will stop, they'll start to fill in a little bit better than they have been. So I'm going to take you around to the other side. So that's it for this spot right here. They're just growing and doing their thing, but they're not as big and as bountiful, I guess you could say, as I would like them to be. But hopefully after this trim, we can get a little bit better flower production. And I'll try and see if feeding them a little bit more would be good. As you can see right here, I still have some more sunflowers right here. But like I said, the rain has been beating them down really hard. And I have some mess that I have to clean up as well. And they're just not looking as good as they did last year. Then we have over here, kind of my cut flower garden. There have been some major fails and successes in this area because I did the mound method where I did rows and then I piled up the stuff. And I also laid cardboard, really thin cardboard down. It has really helped a lot with keeping the weeds out. But as you can see, it's a tight, small area. I don't have a lot of space for a lot of my flowers. But I just thought doing a row crop would be really fun to try out. The zinnias or zinnias are doing absolutely wonderful in this spot, to be honest. This is probably the best my flowers are going to look. Everything else is kind of hit or miss. I have the different types of azaleas, like I think I just got these at Walmart. I think Walmart, Lowe's, the generic kind that most people can get their hands on. And they're just either the big red, the big pink, or something like that. I can't remember the names. I do also have Bells of Ireland, which they aren't doing so well. Like I said, it's been raining so much here that they're just rotting out, I think, and it's just not good for them. The Cosmos, however, absolutely love this space. They are probably going to start really rocking and rolling with blooming pretty shortly here in a second. I also have one out of 110 Lisianthus. I have one that survived, and it's in between those two Cosmos right over there. So it's kind of funny. I do have a hollyhock, which is being eaten up, it looks like a little bit. We have a lot of Japanese beetles, or what we like to call June bugs, out here. But these are absolutely beautiful, but it's getting eaten up by what I think is June bugs. And then there's some more hollyhocks right here. And then the rest is zinnias and the cosmos. And then I have another succession of sunflowers, which basically take up this whole space right here. There's no space for me to walk through these two aisles. I can walk through these two, but I cannot walk through this one at all. But I'm super excited to see what it looks like because most of the zinnias have blooms on them now. And as long as I keep them trimmed a lot, I should be getting a huge amount of flowers in this spot come shortly, I think. We'll see. All right. This right here is my pot that I kind of just threw together. I'm going to change it up today. weather permitting. It did have a downpour for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier today, so I couldn't do this earlier like I would have wanted, but it is an overcast day, so it's not super hot outside. It's kind of like my herb garden. I have 2 basil in here, chives, and oregano. I didn't have enough soil in the bottom of this to fill it up like I need to, but I do have some more soil in the back of my car that I'm going to redo this and make the soil a little higher so they have more room to grow. And then over here in this area are a lot of fails and successes again. This used to just be soil. And as you can see, with all the rain that we've been getting, every day, I feel like for the last month and a half, it's been pouring down. The sprinkle here, a big, huge rain, flash flooding. One of the tunnels in our area actually flooded because we've just been getting so much rain. It's just too much for us to handle. But if you come over here and look, one of my eggplants, we have bunnies really bad out here. You can see their little teeth marks on it. Let me see if I can pull it off. I'm going to pull this one off. Ow, ow, it's got thorns. There's little teeth marks because the bunny decided to have a snack, didn't want to finish it. I guess maybe he didn't like it. And so that one is a goner, but it's kind of hilarious. I don't mind the bunnies coming and eating stuff. I really don't care too much. I just enjoy growing it. Whatever we can get from the garden, we will get and collect. And whatever we don't, the bunnies can have. That's okay with me. So we have some eggplants going on right here. And like I said, so much water that my tomatoes are not doing so well because they're getting too much. I mean, they're turning yellow because there's just so much rain, and we have clay soil. So we live in zone 8A on the eastern southern side of the state of the US, and this area I'm guessing is not good for any of these in here. Like the ones that do well on this side are cucumbers and our squash. Those are the only ones that do really well in the ground over here. But everything else, like my tomatoes, my eggplants, and all that, I need to put in raised beds because with the amount of rain that we've gotten this year, I've had a couple of rounds where I could have gotten my peppers and stuff like that. But as you can see, these are starting to turn colors. And I don't know if they're supposed to be that color or not, but I came out here one day and they were mushy, like completely mushy. And I don't know why. They don't look like they have any diseases. It's not really a horrible discoloration of the leaves, so I don't think it's any type of disease or pest or anything. But I came out here and they were literally soft to the touch. So I had to pull them because I didn't want it to spoil the rest of the plant or anything else next to it. And they haven't been able to really grow a whole lot because even though it's super hot, it's super, super wet. So they're putting on too much water on them and it's stressing them out where the leaves are just starting to turn yellow because they're just getting too much water. So I'm going to actually remove some of these, whatever I can save. I'm probably going to do maybe 1 or 2 of each plant. So maybe 2 tomatoes, 2 peppers, 2 eggplants, and transfer them into our bed over here. So whatever I have extra of in these beds, I'm going to pull out. Like I have more basil that I don't need since I have my herb container now. I don't need a whole nother thing of basil over here. So I can pull all of that out and then pop some of these other things in there that drains a little bit better since that has really good raised bed garden mix. I think I have Happy Frog and what's the other one? Coco Loco in there, and I mix those in and fertilizer in there as well. So I think that will be a good thing to do. Like if you look over here, because of, like I said, all the rain we've been getting, these aren't doing so well. They haven't even gotten that big. These have been in the ground for at least 4 months. And this is my cucumber. It almost looks like a squash, but it's not. It's a cucumber, and they're not doing so hot at all. So I'm going to redo this whole area. I'm going to let nature take over this spot again. I'll probably keep the vine crops just because they seem to be doing okay, even though I think they're starting to rot out as well because of the water. As you can see, it's like splitting right here, and there's something growing in this. So I'll probably pull this one out because that's not normal. So we'll see how it goes. But if we come further down this way, there's some good stuff going on this side. As you can see, the Japanese beetles are totally getting, there's one right there, they're totally getting all of my leaves. And if you look too, these are being chomped on by bunnies. So all of these are chomped on by bunnies. I see them in the morning, they come and they run away and scurry. But this was trailing out all the way out to here, but the bunnies keep cutting them, eating them, and keeping it a little bit more tidy for me, I guess. I don't know if it's stressful for the plant or not, but they definitely are having fun with eating it all. And the damage from the Japanese beetles is getting kind of crazy. I have another herb pot right here, which is not doing so well. I'm going to take out this lemon balm and place it in my other herb plant over there, and maybe remove one of the basils that's in there because I have two. My strawberry patch is not doing so well. It actually stopped producing strawberries, and I wonder if it's just all the rain we've been getting that's kind of bogging it down. And my raised beds need to be higher. If you can see, they're about 4 inches from the rim, and I want it to be about an inch from the rim. But with all this rain that has been compacting it, I need to add more soil back into these raised beds. And then I need to clear out some of these extra things that don't need to be in here so that I can transplant some of those other plants into these beds. And then I'm working on another round of vegetables. So like your lettuce, your kale, maybe even broccoli. So I'm going to do that inside and then transplant them out in a few weeks, and then have another round of my cool season or cold hardy crops. And if you look at my other, I was wondering why I didn't get a whole bunch of strawberries. This is the Proven Winners, I think Berry Treasure, or one of the berry strawberries that they have. And it's not doing so well because this strawberry is also being eaten by bunnies. All of the heads are bitten off. Not even just, they're just all the areas where the strawberries are growing. I was wondering why we couldn't get nice big strawberries, and it's because they're eating all of the bigger strawberries before I can pick them. But they're not big enough for me to pick them. They're only about maybe the size of a quarter, and then they keep eating them before I even get the chance to do it. But the one good thing that's coming out so far are my vine crops over here. Let's see if I can find one. So I have watermelons and I think like honeydew melons over here. Take for them to, and there's a whole bunch on here. We got a whole bunch going on. So I'm hoping that we'll at least get some melons out of the garden. We didn't get a whole lot of big ones last year because I don't know why. I think I planted them too late, but these have been in the ground for at least 3 months, I think. It's been a while since I planted them, maybe even longer. But with the rain and our cold, it's been taking a lot longer for it to get up to a good hot temperature for them. But it's been steadily in the 90s and the 80s for at least 2 months now. So I think, what is it? It's July now. So yeah. So I think since like end of May, we've been steadily having warmer temperatures, but April and the beginning of May was still really cold. We had some frost even in April. So a lot of the stuff is slow going right now as well. I do have some onions. I already pulled my garlic and carrots. I might start another round of carrots. That was a lot of fun. Maybe not as many carrots, but I might start another one. I do have corn right here. Hopefully I think there's a head right here, but I don't think it's going to do anything because we've had so much water that it's producing it so short to the ground when normally they're up to here and then you get the corn stalk. But like there's already one right there that has a corn stalk right in the center at the top, and it's not even 2 feet tall. So we've had a lot of crazy stuff going on. This one was another vine that the bunnies ate. They ate the center right here, and then the rest of the leaves just died because of it. Another lemon balm, and then I have a couple of stuff that I just kind of threw in buckets everywhere. But like I said, all I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant, add some more soil into the beds, and then go from there and see if we'll get, something out of this yard this year. We did get, like I said, we did get carrots, we did get garlic, we did get some lettuce. So I think this year is going to be like the season for brassicas because everything else has been kind of a fail. Even my tomatoes. I have tomatoes on there, but they're so tiny, and I don't know if they're going to do anything by the time the season ends. We do have a long season. Our winters typically start in November, like mid-November, and then usually the last frost date usually ends probably like April, like March, April. Like our last hard frost is probably like April 11th-ish. But this year we had frost even the end of April. We were still having really cold, wet temperatures, and we didn't get a whole lot of rain until recently. We usually say April shall bring May flowers, and we didn't get hardly any rain in April, and we're getting it all the last 2 months. But so after I get everything set up and get some supplies, I'm going to go ahead and switch everything out, and then I'm just going to put the tripod where you guys can see me, and then we'll just work on getting everything switched over. Hi guys, so I am still trying to work out this whole kinks with the video camera and the microphone, and because I know that it's kind of a necessity since I stand far away from the camera and it's hard for people to hear me when I have it set up and I'm doing stuff throughout the yard. So my husband surprised me and bought the microphone. I haven't really used it that much. I end up just doing voiceovers because I feel like it just takes so much time. Usually when I do yard work, it's not planned. I just like, this was need to get done today, and then I just go and do it. So it's still kind of a change trying to put it all on video. But I did the video earlier to show you the recap, and I guess my microphone wasn't on or something. I don't know. Hopefully this time it is. I checked to make sure the light is on, so hopefully it'll stay on. But when I'm pressing and doing stuff, it was on my chest, and I guess maybe I hit the button. I don't know. But there was no audio. But I can do some voiceover on some of it so you can capture how everything was done. And I'm going to just go over everything now that it's the sun's going down and it's kind of overcast. It's not so hot, and I think my camera will stay on longer. But I'm just going to go ahead and run through everything right now and talk about everything. As this you can is the area that I had the tomatoes, the vine crop, eggplant, things like that, squash in this area. I cleared it all out because it has been raining so much that nature is literally taking it over, and I just could not keep up with it because otherwise I'd be out here in the flooding rain trying to rip up all the grass all over again. So I was like, you know what? Let's not battle against nature. Let's just strip it all, see what we can save, and transplant it into the flower bed containers that I have to my right. So I'm going to go ahead and swing this way and show everything. I'll try and be as smooth as I can, but I am not the best steady hand for this kind of project. So in the back up here, and everything's looking kind of wilty because I did just transplant it. And some of these may not be the best thing to transplant, but I did it anyway just to try and save it. So back here is the okra. First time I've ever grown it before. It's looking kind of sad because I did transplant it and I moved it. Hopefully it'll bounce back and it'll start pushing new growth. I'm hoping that the few leaves that still looks good and it will be beautiful and tomorrow, and it will be thriving again and doing much better than it was in the ground because the ground is just holding too much water. We're getting too much rain, and I think it'll drain a lot better in here because, like I said before, this is a mixture of Coco Loco Happy Frog, and I think it's the Star Green. It's not like the best brand of soil, but it is specifically for raised garden beds, and I think it'll do fine in here. I haven't had any issues with it before. I don't know much about the brand of soil, but it's just what I bought at the store just to go ahead and get it in the ground. And it's supposed to be organic, I believe, according to the bag, but I have not read the back of the bag to really get detailed information about that. It's what you can get locally at like Home Depot or Lowe's. I also transplanted that tomato plant, and then I transplanted these three peppers. I don't know what kind of peppers they are. I think one may be a bell pepper and then might be a jalapeno. I think that's a jalapeno, and then these two are bell peppers, but don't quote me on that. We'll see when they finally finish. And then I have my eggplant right there that has a nice big eggplant on it. My sweet potato vines, hopefully they keep continuing on even though the bunnies are having a lot of fun chomping on their leaves. But there's two plants in here. I probably should have only had put one, but I did the square foot method. I don't know how big an area that I need to put. Maybe I should have only done one in there, but I guess seeing the size of the tomatoes, like the potatoes that come out, we'll know if I should have done just one or if two was okay. There's another eggplant up there. It has a little baby eggplant on it as well, another tomato plant, and that is either a squash, a watermelon. I'm not really sure which one it is. We'll see once it starts growing a little bit more. I want to say it might be more of like maybe it's a cucumber, but it doesn't quite look like it kind of looks like a cucumber plant, but I'm not sure. It's not vining out as much as the other ones were. And then over here I have corn, especially this block of corn. I think that's a watermelon right there. And there's a couple of onions that I had in there, but they've been chomped on by the bunny, so I don't think they're going to make it. I might just pull them. I'm also going to use this space mostly for um, some of the brassicas. So I'm going to do some more lettuce and romaine head lettuce and things like that in here. We'll see if we can get as much as we can. Maybe another thing of broccoli because we are starting to wind down for the season, and I'm not going to put them in here directly. I'll start them inside and then transplant them in a few weeks. And then, of course, these look the worst out of everything I transplanted, aside from, of course, the okra. Like I said, I don't know if these can be transplanted that well, but I'm going to give it a try, see if I can save it. If not, it's not too much of a loss. But this one did have a little a little patty coming on. I didn't even notice it. It's so exciting. I've never grown one like this before. And it looks like there might be another one back here that might be starting. I'm not too sure if that one's one or if that's just a flower, so it's probably not. But it's so cool. I'm so excited. So we'll see if we'll get some out of it. If not, we'll try again next year. Those are the strawberries that I have and the melons right here. I do have some actually popping up. There's a couple of big ones. See if I can spot them again. There it is. Some big ones right in here. And another one, I think. There's some small ones right there that you can see coming off the vine. And then another small one over here. So that's kind of exciting. We'll see if we get anything this year. I'm going to have to keep coming out here because, like I said, it's staying really wet. So I'm going to try and keep them dry as much as possible since they are directly on the soil. Mulch or something would be a lot better for them out here, but the grass grows so fast and it weeds so quickly, just like it is right now, taking over the area for the corn. So I'll have to keep an eye on that as best as I can. And then I'm going to show you over here near my patio set. All right, so over here is kind of just the patio set that I got this year. It didn't cost me that much at all. I think it was $50 for all three chairs, the wicker chairs. They're not in the most pristine condition. The camera shows them that they are. They're not. These couch cushions I got for $20. I am really big on reuse and stuff like that. So if someone has it, I can just take it, clean it, it's all good. It's outside, who cares? I might reupholster them myself because I can do that and sew or whatever, whatnot, and make them beautiful and not spin. Because these were $50, like I think 30 per piece, and I'm not a big fan of that. Right there would have been $120. I ended up getting them for half off because they were discounted, so that was okay. But that's not something I want to do again. Because for me, I want quality, but I don't want a fortune to be spent on something that's outside and things like that. And then like it's seasonal stuff. You're not going to be using this all year round. If I had like an overhang or an arch, maybe we would use it a little bit more even in the winter time. But a lot of times we're not going to be out here during the winter because it's going to be wet a lot. It gets really cold, it gets really wet. We're not going to be out here a whole lot to be sitting on them anyway, and I want to keep them as protected as possible, so I'll probably cover them most of the time during off season. This right here is what I transplanted, one of the basil plants. I had like 5 of them. I don't even know how I had 5, but I still have like 4 or 5, but they're just scattered around. I think I must have had more then. So like maybe 10, and I didn't notice. But I have one right here, there's a big one, and then like 3 over in what I'm calling my herb container. So it has oregano, 3 different types of basil. So there's one right here, and then one right here. I have the chive plant in the middle, which I am going to try and chop off a whole bunch and save some, and then let it do its thing with filling back out again. And then I think that is parsley. I think it's either parsley or cilantro, but it doesn't quite smell like cilantro, so I think it's parsley. But it smells like pizza. So when I sit down over here, and especially when it's hot outside, it smells like a bowl of pizza. And then we have this right here, which is, I think these are proven winners, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I just can't remember, to be honest. But I did buy some. They might have just been I think I bought them. I don't think they were. I don't remember. Well, it's been a while. It's been a couple of months, or it's been like 2 or 3 months. And I bought some things that weren't proven winners and some that were. The one I do know that is proven winners for sure is this one right here, which I have brought back from almost death. It was literally just this small little twig right here that you see. It was just a twig that went right into the center, another sprig that came out, and it was just brown with really tiny, like little leaves, like smaller, like these tiny little leaves. That was it, that was covering it. And a month later, it bloomed back out. So it's really nice that it flushed back out. I'm super happy considering they are expensive. For that small container, it's $10, which I find kind of expensive because it's not going to last you forever. It's only going to last you seasonal from when your last frost date, give or take, all the way until the frost takes them. So $10, which I guess it seems like it's a good deal, but if you want to fill up your yard, it takes a lot of these for me to fill up the area, especially considering we get a lot of rain. So I do have to whack them back. I think I've whacked mine 3 times already because they're susceptible to rotting out and they don't look as vibrant and healthy. And I think I will show you that in the video as well. So it's just not that good. The mosquitoes are awful. Oh my gosh, you should see them swarming around me. Do you see them? Look how bad they are. I don't know if you guys have any ideas on how to get rid of them. That's friendly to our pollinators, but they are absolutely awful. Like they were not that bad a couple days ago because I think they got super hot and fried, so they died. And then now they're back since it's cooling off again. And then this right here, I think, is another cucumber plant, which I don't know if it has any cucumbers on it. I haven't really been digging in here. Let's see if we can find one. I haven't been digging in here a whole lot to see, but it's definitely loving this spot for sure. I'm just letting it do its thing and crawling all over the place. It's clinging to everything, but I don't see any vegetables on it right now. But hopefully we'll get something. We'll see. But that is all that's going on right now. Um, Hopefully in a few days I can show you what it looks like. I'm gonna walk back over here. Hopefully in a few days I can show you that the okra survived, and well, I'll show you what did survive and what didn't survive. Maybe after a week or so, because I know it's going to take a little while, especially for the one that's already really wilted. These are going to take a little while to readjust. Everything else I think will just manage just fine. Since they're not super bad right now, I think they'll just pick up where they left off and just keep on going. All right, guys, so that's basically it. As you can see, I have no beans or anything on here because I ended up having to rip those out too. I'm just not having very good luck with those types of bean. I had really good luck with the peas, but I could not keep up with them because I don't eat peas that much. I did them for my mom, so but she couldn't keep up with eating that many either. There was just bags and bags of peas that I could gather up, and oh my gosh, it was just too many. I should have not planted like 10, I think. Maybe I'll start with 2 next year and we'll go off of that. But sometimes when you go in, you kind of just want to go all in, but I went way too far in, I think. Anyway, so I hope you found this interesting, funny, hilarious. Laugh at how my fails are going, but let's rejoice on the successes that I've had. Hopefully, we'll have some more successes and not too many fails. But if we do have fails, that's okay too, because it's all good fun. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.